welcome back to my channel Endless Pages. I'm Liv and welcome to today's video, which is my July TBR. Hello, hope you've been well. Welcome to my July TBR. So yeah, I'm just going to be chatting you through what I kind of want to get to, or what my rough plan for July is in terms of my reading. My kind of goal for this month is sequels. So what stupid Olivia likes to do, I don't know why I'm talking in third person, is to never ever continue on with the series ever in her life. I mean, I start all these amazing series and then I just keep starting new series and I never complete series. And I was just looking at my TBR and my shelves and I was like, I haven't finished that series, haven't done that. And it's always like I read the first book, love it, and then I just never continue on. So my focus for this month is continuing on with the series. Like, that is my main goal. If I achieve that and nothing else in terms of reading, then I'm really happy with that. So I've got like a couple of series that I want to focus on, series that I'm like, I need to continue on with because I love these books. Why am I not continuing on with them? And I was thinking about my TBR and I was like, okay, well, I'll just pop a bunch of series on my TBR. But because I've left it so far in between books, I'm like, I'm not going to be doing the book justice if I pick up the sequel with such a limited memory of what happened. I'm going to spend half the book trying to figure out who they're talking about, and that's going to lower my enjoyment of what, you know, could be a 4 or 5 star read for me. So with that in mind, let's just jump into what I actually want to get into. The first series that I want to focus on this month is the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. I read the first book, which is called, I can't remember, see, it's been so long I can't even remember the name of the first book. This is the second book. I read the first book. Is it just called Mistborn? Wait one sec. The Final Empire, that's what it was called. I knew it wasn't called Mistborn. So yeah, I read The Final Empire, the first book in the Mistborn trilogy, February of last year, and I gave it 5 stars. I was like, this is one of the most amazing things I've ever read in my life, one of the best fantasy books I've ever read, with the most unique, amazing, cool magic system. And then I never continued on. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just put the Well of Ascension book 2 on my TBR. But like, I kind of roughly remember what happened, but I just don't think, like I said before, I'm doing this book justice if I don't go in with a proper understanding of what's happening before I jump into a big, intimidating fantasy series. So my goal is to reread The Final Empire and then read The Well of Ascension. It's a really, really big goal for me. But I mean, if those are the only 2 books I read this month, I'll honestly be happy with that. I don't know where my copy of Mistborn is. I had it in a physical copy. I think I unhauled it. I have like a kind of vaguish memory of unhauling it. I think maybe my copy was damaged or it was an old cover or something. So I need to repurchase that book. So probably won't be my first read of the month. But yes, so yeah, the goal is to reread Mistborn, book 1, The Final Empire, and then continue on with book 2, The Well of Ascension. Like I said, this is one of the books with one of the most unique magic systems I've ever read. If I can remember roughly what this is about, we follow the characters in this world where there's a big evil kind of guy ruling over everyone. The Lord Ruler, who, I'm just going to read the Goodreads blurb, that'll be easier. He owns the world. For 1,000 years the ash has fallen. For 1,000 years the Scar slaved in misery and lived in fear. For 1,000 years the Lord Ruler reigned with absolute power and ultimate terror, divinely invincible. Every attempted revolt has failed miserably, yet somehow hope survives. A new kind of uprising is being planned, one that depends on the cunning of a brilliant criminal mastermind and the courage of an unlikely heroine, a Scar street urchin who must learn to master allomancy, the power of a Mistborn. What if the prophesized hero had failed to defeat the Dark Lord? Yes, it was a 5-star read, so yeah. To sum that up, reread The Final Empire, jump into this bad boy. Yes. The next part of my reread plan is one that's probably not going to be popular, but this bad boy. Listen, I know this is a shit series, I know this is a shit book, but I love this book with all of my heart and no one can tell me otherwise. I turn a blind eye. Anyway, yeah. Look at the condition of this book of how many times I've reread it. It's like literally falling apart, but I bought other nicer editions that just sit on my shelf. Anyway, you don't care about that. This is one of my favorite series of all time. I know it's bad, but you know what? I own it. So I have, for the last probably 5 years, been like, I will continue on with the Mortal Instruments world, and the Shadowhunter world, I should say, and you know, read the newer books, continue on with the lore. Never have. So the plan is to start with the Mortal Instruments series, reread the whole series, which I have read. This one I've read a million times. I haven't read the whole series heaps. Probably once or twice I've gone, no, 2 or 3 times I've gone through the whole series, but not heaps. This one I've read over and over. So yeah, reread the whole Mortal Instruments series, not in the month of July. This is an overarching continuing plan. Reread the Clockwork series, and then continue on with all the books in the, I went to say the Grishaverse. My brain is not working. The Shadowhunter verse, and yeah, continue on. So my plan is just to start this one this month. Yeah, reread this book. I don't think I need to tell you what it's about. This copy has seen better days. Anyway, yeah, just reread this book. Okay, the last part of my series goal for the month is this series here, and that is the Dark Rise series by C.S. Beckett. This also brings me to a point that I am also participating in the Australian Readathon in the month of July, created by a book fiend named Mel. I will tag her announcement video in the description below. Mel did an amazing version of this readathon this year. She did it last year as well, which I failed completely last year, and this year she's made it, she said more like, she kind of worded it as more excessive, which it totally is, because you can either do the bingo board with prompts and try and get a bingo, or you know, read all the prompts, or you can just read Australian authors. So I'm totally doing just reading the Australian authors way, because that just works so much better for my mood read. So yeah, C.S. Beckett is an Australian author. I read Dark Rise last year and it was 5 stars. This is like one of my favorite books I've ever read in my entire life. It was incredible. The twist at the end, I'm still kind of shook about the twist at the end of this book. And this year Dark Air, the sequel, look at these beauties, came out, and I totally want to read it, but again, I'm not doing it justice, so I need to refresh my memory of everything that happened in this book before I can continue on. So I'm just going to read the blurb, because I can never summarize blurbs very well. So the ancient world of magic is no more. Its heroes are dead, its halls are ruins, and its great battles between light and dark are forgotten. Only the stewards remember. For centuries they have kept vigil, sworn to protect humanity if the Dark King ever returns. 16-year-old dockboy Will is on the run in London, pursued by the man who killed his mother. When an old servant urges him to seek out the stewards, Will is ushered into a secret world where he must train to fight for the light in the oncoming war. As the Dark King's return looms, reborn warriors begin to draw battle lines, but when the young descendants of light and dark step into their destined roles, old alliances, old enmities, and old flames are awakened. Will must stand with the last heroes of the light to prevent the calamity that destroyed their world from returning to destroy his own. Oh my god, this book was absolutely incredible. Like, one of my favorite books I've ever read. It was devastating and heartbreaking, and the setting was amazing, and like there was so many cool scenes, and I just adored this book so much. So I'm honestly really excited to reread this, just to relive that feeling I had when reading this book. And I'm also so scared and intimidated to continue on with the series, because I'm concerned for my characters. I really am. So I'm so excited to get back into this world, because it is amazing. The last 2 things I want to mention on this TBR are just kind of maybes, like maybe if I get time, if I'm in the mood, I might read these. So the first being another book for the Australian Readathon, that being Sabriel by Garth Nix. I recently went to the Sydney Writers Festival and heard Garth Nix speak. He was an amazing speaker. He signed my book and was really lovely. So that was really cool. This is one of his like most popular books, I believe, and I've never read it. And I was listening to the panel and I was like, oh, I don't know which one of his books I should buy to get signed. Because I just don't know where to start with him, because I don't sadly know much about him. And they were talking about, I guess they were talking about on the panel with two other authors, like diversity and inclusion and representation in books. And someone brought up that this book was written back in like, first published in 1995, so before I was even born. And the book has a strong female main character, and they were talking about how at the time that was just not seen in fantasy books as the, you know, the chosen one, the hero being a female character. So that really stuck with me, even though Garth was like, listen, I want to take credit for that was like, you know, a purposeful choice. It wasn't. So like, he was honest. It was quite funny. So I don't know, that really stuck with me. So I wanted to give it a go, and once I read the blurb I was like, this sounds really cool. So for many years Sabriel has lived outside the walls of the Old Kingdom, away from the random power of free magic and away from the dead who won't stay dead. But now her father, the mage, is missing, and to find him, Sabriel must cross back into the treacherous world and face the power of her own extraordinary destiny. Apparently this is an incredible book. I feel ashamed that I'm Australian and a fantasy reader and have never read a Garth Nix book, so it's about time I change that. And the only other thing I kind of want to mention as a maybe is, since it's the Australian Readathon, I think I might have actually mentioned this the last Australian Readathon TBR, but I have for months and months and months been wanting to do a vlog where I read Australian crime books, because I just, especially working in a library and living in an area where there's predominantly elderly people, so they love Australian, like they love reading Australian books. There's a lot of like white Australians in the area, let's just say that, and they love reading Australian authors. So I always see so much Australian crime, like it's everywhere. It seems to be like, I don't know if it's a current trend with Australian authors, but it's just where Australian literature is at. It's just Australian crime. And I've had good experiences with Australian crime in the past with authors like Jane Harper. So I want to do a vlog where I read Australian crime books. And I've been wanting to do it for months. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. So I probably would, it would be the best month to film that, because it would be participation in the Australian Readathon. So let me know in the comments if you'd like to see me do that. I have a couple of titles in mind that I do want to read, books that I am genuinely interested in reading. Let me know if you have any suggestions for what I should read. Yeah, I feel like this video was like a little bit all over the place. I'm just like out of practice with filming, but thank you so much for watching this hectic TBR video. Let me know in the comments below, have you read anything that I popped on my TBR? What did you think of them? Are you participating in the Australian Readathon? What are you planning on reading in the month of July? My last reading month was interesting, to say the least, so I'm so excited to see what July brings me. Honestly, I'm just gonna go with the flow, honestly, and see what happens and see what I end up picking up. Thanks again so much for watching. Give this video a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you would like to see more of my content. I plan on semi-regularly posting again, so please do subscribe if you'd like to see hopefully lots more reading vlogs. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I will see you in whatever the hell I post next. Bye!